Ever feel like your smartphone is already crazy powerful? Like you're holding more computing power than they needed to land on the moon right there in your hand.
It's true. And the crazy thing is how fast things are still moving.
This week's deep dive is all about those lightning fast AI breakthroughs, all thanks to the latest Tech AI Digest. And let me tell you, some of these stories are total game changers, like down to the nuts and bolts of how tech is made.
Absolutely. One story that really shows this shift is about AlphaChip. It's a totally new way to design those computer chips, the brains of everything, developed by Google, no less.
Okay, gotta break this down. We know AI is great at crunching numbers, but designing physical stuff, how does that even work?
That's what's so wild about AlphaChip. It uses something called reinforcement learning to, wrangle the crazy complexity of chip design. Imagine teaching a computer to play, say, Tetris.
Okay, I'm picturing those blocks falling.
Exactly. With each block, the AI learns what gets the best result. So in Tetris, it's fitting those shapes, but with AlphaChip, it's placing all those tiny components on a chip for peak efficiency. And get this, AlphaChip's already beating human engineers at their own game. It's creating layouts that are more efficient than anything we've ever seen.
So it's not just playing the game, it's winning and against the best in the world. But is this just a cool Google project, or is this actually out there in the world?
Oh, it's already making waves. Google's using AlphaChip to build their tensor processing units, which power tons of their AI stuff. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a Google thing anymore. MediaTek, they're a huge chip maker, and they're already putting AlphaChip into their designs, specifically for their Dimensity flagship 5G processor.
Wait, hold on. So if you're listening to this on a new Samsung, your phone might be running on a chip designed by AI. That's wild.
It really is.
Mhm.
And this is just the start. Think about it. Faster phones that last longer,
Yeah.
laptops that are more powerful but also thinner and lighter. This could change everything, from your gadgets to even healthcare.
Okay, this isn't just slightly better tech. This is like a seismic shift in how it's all designed thanks to AI. It's like we gave the tools to some superpowered intern who's learning at warp speed.
And that's just one example. Speaking of shaking things up, the Tech Digest also talks about a different kind of disruption. Who gets to be a part of the AI revolution in the first place?
This is where the OpenAI Academy comes in, right? I was really interested to see them actually doing something to make AI more accessible, especially for developers in parts of the world that don't always have the same opportunities.
It's one thing to say you want to make AI accessible, but OpenAI is putting their money where their mouth is.
Hmm.
They're offering API credits, which are like golden tickets for developers to build and test their ideas. It's like giving someone the tools they need to actually build their AI dream project.
And it doesn't stop there. They're also doing training programs to help level the playing field for developers who might not have gone to those fancy schools in Silicon Valley.
It's all about creating this global network of AI people. By helping local talent, they're making sure the future of AI isn't just decided by a select few, but by everyone. And the results speak for themselves. Check out the Kobe project. They're using AI to help students with dyslexia learn to read, which is amazing.
That's fantastic. And I was so blown away by the iSTEM project. They're tackling digital accessibility for people who are blind or visually impaired in India. That has such a huge impact on education and jobs.
What I love about both of those projects is that they're driven by real problems faced by real people. They show how AI can be more than just a cool gadget. It can be a force for good in the world. And speaking of ingenuity and pushing boundaries, this next story from the Tech Digest, it just goes to show sometimes you got to get creative to make big things happen. We're talking about China. They've been doing some really interesting stuff with AI, even though they've hit some roadblocks.
Roadblocks like what?
Well, they've had some trouble getting their hands on the latest, most powerful computer chips, because of those trade restrictions.
Ah, right. So how do they keep up with AI development if they don't have the best tools for the job?
It's actually pretty cool what they're doing. It's like this. You know how you always hear you need those top-of-the-line, crazy expensive chips to make any progress with AI, especially for training those massive AI models, the ones that are all the rage.
Right, like it's an arms race for who has the biggest, baddest computer.
Exactly. But China is showing that, well, you can work smarter, not just harder. See, NVIDIA, they make those super high-end chips, right? Well, they have this special version of their H20 chip. It's made specifically for the Chinese market.
Okay, so it's like a special edition, but is it still as good?
Well, it follows all the rules, the export regulations and all that, but it's not quite as powerful as the ones used for cutting-edge research.
So they're working with a bit of a handicap, but you can't just magically boost processing power, can you? How do they make up for that?
That's the ingenious part. They figured out how to combine those NVIDIA H20 chips, slightly less powerful ones, with their own chips. Huawei makes these Ascend 910 AB GPUs, and get this, they've found a way to train a huge AI model by spreading out the work across a bunch of data centers.
Wait, hold up. You can do that? I thought training those massive AIs required everything to be the same, like all the hardware in perfect sync.
Normally, you'd be right. Trying to do that with different data centers and different types of hardware, it's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
But China's showing it can be done, and that changes things.
I bet. So not only are they pushing AI forward even with those limitations, but they're also showing that you don't need to spend $1 zillion on the absolute best gear to compete. That's got to have some people nervous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't just about China. It's about the whole idea that innovation can come from anywhere, even when things seem stacked against you.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, this last story from the Tech Digest is something that'll hit close to home for a lot of folks. It's about how AI is about to totally change a field that affects all of us, healthcare.
Oh, yeah, this one's a biggie. Because it's not just about fancy tech, it's about hope. Recursion Pharmaceuticals, they've been using AI to find new drugs. And get this, the FDA just gave them the green light for clinical trials.
That's huge. But before we go further, remind us why this is such a big deal. Haven't we always had drug trials?
Sure, sure. Clinical trials are how we make sure new meds are safe and actually work. But the cool part about what Recursion did is how they got here. The way we usually find new drugs, it takes forever, it's complicated, and it costs a fortune. We're talking decades, billions of dollars, just to go from an idea to something ready for trials.
So how'd they do it differently? Did they just throw a bunch of AI at the problem?
Kind of. They've got this super advanced AI platform that analyzes tons of data. Cellular images, genetic info, clinical records, you name it. And it can spot things that even the smartest scientists might miss. And it does it way faster than we ever could.
So no more spending years in the lab testing millions of things hoping to get lucky.
Exactly. In this case, they found their target and developed a potential drug in under 18 months.
18 months. That's faster than some kitchen renovations I've seen. What's this groundbreaking drug called?
It's called REC-1245, and it targets this specific thing called RBM39, which is kind of like another marker, CDK12, that's been really tough to hit effectively. Both of them, they pop up in some really nasty forms of cancer, ovarian, prostate, breast cancer, that kind of thing.
So if these trials work out, this could be huge for people fighting those cancers, right?
Yeah, it really has the potential to be a game changer. And the thing is, it's not just about this one drug or even this one company, you know. Recursion, they've basically proven that this whole AI scotch can work. It could change how we find all new drugs. Faster, maybe even better, and hopefully way more affordable down the line.
That's what blows my mind about all this. We always hear about how long it takes for new treatments to actually reach people, and the costs, astronomical. Could AI actually be the answer? Could it break down those barriers so that these life-saving things are available to everyone? It's pretty exciting to think about.
It really is. And it gets to the heart of what we've been talking about today, right? AI isn't just about making things faster or cheaper, though it's certainly good at that. It's about, like, cracking the code on stuff we thought was impossible.
Totally. We started with AI designing computer chips, and that's already changing what our devices can do. Then it was the OpenAI Academy, how they're making sure everyone can get involved in AI, not just a select few. And now we've got AI potentially revolutionizing healthcare, maybe even saving lives.
It just goes to show this tech is weaving its way into everything, the stuff we use every day, even the future of, like human health.
So what's the big takeaway for you? What do you hope people are thinking about after they finish listening to this deep dive?
Honestly, it's the sheer speed and like the scale of it all. This isn't just one industry or one part of life that AI is changing. It's everything, and it's happening so fast. The challenge and the really exciting part is figuring out how to use this power for good, to solve real problems and make a better future for everyone, you know?
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's a future bursting with possibilities, but it also means we've got to be thoughtful and honestly a little bit awestruck by what we're seeing unfold right in front of us. So to everyone listening, keep that in mind as you see AI shaping the world. It's already changing how we live, work, heal, and we're just getting started.